What's up, everybody? Welcome to League Unlock, where it is a beautiful and momentous occasion because we've got a whole whack of LPL highlights on the show today. A rare Wednesday where there's no LCK, no action in Korea, as has been the theme the last little while for no games on Wednesday. But there are plenty of games to take from China, and yes, it feels like you're still watching a different game in the LPL because they are now 2 patches, soon to be 3 patches behind, but they will catch up before 9.5. But they're still on 9.2, so when you see Kai'Sa's building Stormrazor as a first item, don't flame the player because that is still the optimal build when you're talking about 9.2. But a couple of juicy matchups because you had Fun plus Phoenix, who, in case you haven't been paying attention to the LPL, they are the Cinderella story, the team to watch at 8-0, fresh off a win against the defending world champions, and in the middle of their gauntlet run. Next up on the docket was RNG, the 2-time defending LPL champions. If you take down the world champ, then the LPL champs should be no problem. RNG have looked better as of late with Uzi back in the lineup, and in game 1 it was a lot of comfort picks for everybody's Xiaohu on the Zoe in this one, Kai'Sa for Uzi, and Xiaohu been under a little bit of criticism lately for underperforming. Even thought there'd be some potential replacement mid laners coming in, but early on they were getting the action going against Doinb. Kai'Sa flashes in on the Rek'Sai, which we've seen a whole lot of lately, and Doinb almost turns it around for a kill, but first blood does go the way of Xiaohu. And then a couple minutes later in the bottom lane, the flash in from Road to take down Ming, but Xiaohu is on the case on the Zoe. He's gonna fly in 3v2 here, but lots of low health bars, and Kai'Sa is eventually gonna make this a 3v3. They leave the Tom Kench for Uzi, 2 for 1 in the favor of RNG. And the mid game here was all about Xiaohu landing those sleepy trouble bubbles across the entire map, and it's RNG kind of snowballing towards a bear, and they had full vision control. Chen goes in on the Lee Sin to try and get a steal, but not happening, my man. That's a Baron over to RNG. The game was all in their favor until they run it down the mid lane looking for some turrets, and watch Chen on the Lee Sin. He's gonna land the Q over the wall on Xiaohu, kind of predicting where he's gonna land after that ult. He gets the kill there, and then this knockback onto Kai'Sa right into Gimgoong's Vladimir to clean up that kill, and that's 2 down already. Clean up the way of FPX to keep them in this game, even with RNG grabbing a Baron, and then it's another bubble that's landed by Xiaohu, but there's no follow-up there. The 2-man ulti from Amazing J. It looks like this fight should go in RNG's favor, but everyone hops back in quickly. FPX plays around the Galio ulti brilliantly, and then they're going to clean up a kill on Kai'Sa and Ming, and this is just a late-game Vladimir. No chance for Uzi or Xiaohu to try and clean up that fight. LMZ also putting in work on the late-game Varus. Game 1 goes to FPX. It was a reverse sweep that they did to IG in the last matchup. This time, they come out of the gates firing after RNG had the early game definitely in their favor. So, impressive comeback win in Game 1. Game 2, Uzi says, let me play the Vayne. I don't lose on this champion. And Doinb on the Corki mid lane, something we haven't seen very often. 2 kills. They dive the RNG bottom lane with the package from Doinb to get an early advantage, and there were a lot of back and forth team fights here, but the positioning from Uzi here on the Vayne, he flashes out, he's safe, nobody's able to lock him up, and Xiaohu on the Lissandra is gonna put on some pressure, but then Kai'Sa is gonna go a little bit too deep here, trying to pick up some kills, but that's a 1v4, my man. Chan survives, even though he gets hit by the Morgana snare. 2 kills for FPX, and the gold lead is in their favor again, but this time Amazing J and Xiaohu just put together a insane CC chain to grab a kill for RNG, and Amazing J, look at him just tanking up the dragon. LMZ, he can't get into this fight. He wants to go for the flank, but it's too late. Your entire team is dead. RNG grabs 3 kills, and they grab the dragon. That would roll in to a Baron for their favor, and they would just snowball that to vision control, and This time, FPX start the Baron, down a few thousand gold. Amazing J knocks 2 people out. Karsa's going to grab a kill onto Crisp, and then you look at the TP that comes from Xiaohu because he got caught out before this fight. 3 members of FPX low, and Xiaohu just completely decimates them, blows them up entirely, and that is an ace for RNG along with the Baron. They close this one out to tie the series at 1, and we are heading to a decisive Game 3. A couple of clean team fights from RNG to take that game. And in the third and decisive one, you have the Scion mid for DoinB, Syndra for Xiaohu, and that is where all the action was early on. It was in the mid lane, a little 2v2, and everybody's gonna get the low health here. Karsa flashes and ward hops out. The last auto by Chen's not enough. Another auto, not enough to take down the Syndra, and then Karsa goes back in with the Q. He does fall down, but it's a 2-for-1, and there's no way Gimgoon is catching up to Xiaohu. So good trade there for RNG, and that was the name of the game, was put your attention onto DoinB. Xiaohu hits level 6 first, and he grabs the solo kill because you got to deal with the Scion before he gets tanky, and that's exactly what RNG was doing. LMZ in the bottom lane almost makes a nice flash play from away from his own turret to get a kill on Uzi, but he follows up with his own flash to survive. And watch Karsa here on the Baron with the cleanest Lee Sin kick back in for the smite. Guaranteed, no 50-50. That is how you control the Baron pit as Lee Sin. And then RNG just gonna run away. They're happy with the Baron buff. They would snowball into some turrets and get a sizable gold lead, and then they run back to fight around the Baron, although this time they don't finish it off. They go for the team fight around it instead. The Aatrox ulti is going to get popped. Redemption not going to be enough because that is a 3-man knockback from Xiaohu, who played another fantastic team fight. The stopwatch to keep him alive, and the same thing for Chen, but it's an inevitable death for him. That is a clean ace again for RNG, and they do it. FPX, the dream run stops here. RNG hands them their very first loss on the LPL season. They were the only remaining undefeated team, not just in China, but outside of Griffin. They were the only other undefeated team still in all the major regions. So now it's just Griffin left standing. FunPlus goes to 8-1. RNG moved to 6-2. And standout performance by Xiaohu throughout that entire series. Even the game they lost in Game 1, he had a fantastic Zoe performance. And for all the criticism he's gotten, not even just this split, but going back to 2018. I'm sure it feels great for him to put up a rock-solid performance. He had the game-winning flank for them on the Lissandra and really was the standout player in that third game on the Syndra. So kudos to Xiaohu. He looks great, and if he's playing anywhere near that MVP level that we've seen him way back in 2017, that's when RNG is a terrifying war machine over in China. And for FunPlus, I want to give shout outs to them because there were a couple of times where it looked like RNG was just going to steamroll and snowball a game out of control, but that was not the case in games 2 or 3. Game 1, they had a great comeback win, and so even though they lost, still plenty of positives for them to take. Listen, they weren't going to go undefeated this entire split, but I think even though they lost this set to RNG, we should not be taking them any less seriously. They are a legit threat to at least get to the finals, maybe make some noise for the LPL crown in 2019 spring. Don't sleep on FunPlus. Coming up after the break, there was some more action from the LPL in the morning. You had Invictus Gaming looking to avoid another loss against Victory 5. Welcome back to our humble abode here at League Unlocked. My name is Eric. Thanks for joining us as always as we go through some rare LPL highlights on this show. That was the only action of the major regions, and when you've got the defending world champions in action who already have 3 losses, which by the way is more than they had in the entirety of the regular season in 2018, it's time to keep an eye on them and make sure they're doing all right. Don't have too much of that Summoners Cup hangover into 2019. IG against V5 in some Week 7 action, and Game 1, it's the lineup you want to see for IG with The Shy playing as well as, obviously, Rookie and the entire crew. 2-1 in favor of V5 when IG all just goon squad over to take down Korn on the rise. And this fight lasted a long time. The Gragas ulti actually whiffs there by bout. And if you notice, IG have the Rift Herald, and it's 3 members. It looks like old Rifty might take down that turret in one shot, but this is a 5v3 dive that IG definitely want a big piece of, and the Shy goes in on the Aatrox with the ulti, but the dive doesn't quite go as planned. Ning has to get the hell out of there on the wreck side. The turret doesn't actually go down. They do get a kill, but Jackie Love also goes down. Not a clean dive whatsoever for IG here. And then there's still 2 members up for V5, but the Shy is gonna flash in. Rookie grabs a kill himself. They do grab the turret, but not exactly the cleanest. And then a 1v1, the Shy is getting pretty darn fed on this Aatrox. Riven, you have no business taking this. He's still got his ulti up. You had no chance of winning that one. And in the mid lane, on both fronts, IG just picking up kills across the map. The Shy was getting disgustingly fed on the Aatrox, and Rookie also getting insanely fed. Doesn't even matter that Ning goes down because Rookie is solo killing people across the map. Good night, Riven. He's dying to both solo laners of IG, and this one got out of control very quickly. The gold lead becoming around 10k for IG. They're diving into the base to pick up some kills, and just to see how fed the Shy was on Aatrox, try seeing him 1v1 a poor Lucian. It is not a sight to be seen because look how deep they're going. They're going to the fountain almost to get some kills, and you can't even get any creeps. Look at the damage. What are you supposed to do as a Lucian in that situation other than type /FF? 30 plus kills, blowing away the kill per minute pace do IG in game 1. An absolute stomp. That is more like the defending world champions. They put on a clinic in game 1. You know they wanted to clean up some extra kills and really go for 31 in 24 minutes, excuse me. Absolutely disgusting. So game 2, V5, probably not feeling great about that matchup, but Y4, excuse me, on V5 pulls out the Vayne, and him and Road actually go for the first blood because Jackie Love goes for the sideways flash, the classic special for the bottom lane, and then a battle around the Dragon Pit. Every time it's an Infernal, you know teams gots to fight, and this one went on for a long time. It's only 13 minutes, so not the most fed members either across either of these boards here. So very back and forth fight. You got the Urgot because, again, this is still 9.2, and it's Ning playing the Aatrox this time. Everybody's getting kills here. It's going to be Pepper left alive for V5, and he's in a 1v2 at the moment with the Alistair going down, but he lands the Q, gets the Urgot, and you know that he's going to be hunting for Korn on that Syndra as well. But this fight lasts for so long that bout actually died and is going to come back into this fight. Rookie does go down, but bout grabs a kill with the slice and dice on the Flay. That fight didn't seem to end. And then it's another Infernal, which means another insane fight back and forth. This time, it's V5 who really come out ahead of it. They go 4 for 1. Eventually, Jackie Love dives in 1v3 for a desperation hope of cleaning up that fight. He can't even get the Alistair, so the game fully in the favor of V5. Then it's a team fight, and it's again of Vladimir putting in work. Janu flashing in for 1 extra kill, and that's big time in the favor of V5. So they go to the Baron later on because this game's in their favor, but nobody, and I mean nobody, is zoning Ning. The headbutt is too late. He flashes in for the Baron steal. Stopwatch just dies for the Vladimir. That's only buying him time. It's a bunch of kills in the favor of IG. Oh no, V5, 3 kills and the Baron. And we've seen how quickly IG can completely turn a game around. They were behind the majority of this game. They grab a Baron, win 1 team fight. They're immediately knocking on the base door of V5. 3 minutes from when they grabbed the Baron to basically they're pushing on to Nexus turrets and trying to close out the game. They grab 2 kills. It's just the Vayne left watching. Everybody flashes in for that one. Jackie Love and Ning combined to grab that kill. Desperation now for V5. They had this game, they had a huge lead, but IG completely turned it on its head, and they have a bunch of kills again. For the entire series, they were well over a kill per minute. A lot of that, obviously, because of that disgusting Game 1. But they win in two very different ways. A stomp in Game 1 and a come from behind win there in Game 2. IG improved to 7-3, and that is the terrifying force that we've come to expect from IG in the LPL, and also, you know, what we saw at the World Championship. That is the team you should be terrified about playing in the LPL. So RNG and IG both coming around and looking like, again, what they were the entirety of 2018, and that is the two best teams in China. V5 have actually been decent at times here. Korn is a guy who you've seen, I mean, you haven't really seen him play in a long time, but he used to play with Uzi way back on those Starhorn Royal Club rosters. Good to see him performing well again, but IG definitely the better squad on the day. And when IG and RNG are looking more like their former selves, the top half of the LPL only gets even more terrifying, because Fun Plus have actually been fantastic, as we've talked about. Their first loss on the season. Top Sports, TOP, look like a legit contender to at least compete for the top half of the playoff seedings. And now with RNG and IG slowly creeping up the LPL standings, it's going to be terrifying for a lot of these other teams. EDG is a squad we haven't even really talked about because they've just been so incredibly inconsistent. They were even last year as well, but they still were able to squeak out a world's berth, and they're always a team that you can't forget about when the playoffs roll around. So the top half of the LPL, you've probably got 5 or 6 teams that could maybe even compete on an international level. So whenever Rift Rivals rolls around, I'm probably going to be saying that the LPL are favorites over the LCK, just because of they have more better teams, like a bigger number of better teams. Yes, Griffin is no doubt the best team in the world, but they can't play every single game when Rift Rivals rolls around. So the LPL top half, very exciting. The bottom half, much like North America, try and not watch those games because it's not great for your eyes.